Personal Learning Theory by Clarice Kimmons. My future intended role in education and training will be in a corporate training environment with my intended group of learners being adults. Though I am open to the specific area of training, in my ideal world I would work for a company and master a specific topic or item like software or a training program pertaining to their specific work environment. I would have a consistent role in training their employees, clients, students, or patients depending on the industry I'm working within. The type of curriculum or material I assume would have a combination of written and verbal information, intellectual, and some amount of motor skills associated with it. When I began to think about how people learn best, I was a little all over the place with my thoughts, so I decided to reference back to Chapter 10 and Robert Gagne's theory of learning and instruction, as well as some concepts from social learning theory. The learning outcomes most appropriate or applicable for my intended role would be verbal information, intellectual skills, and basic motor skills. With those learning outcomes in mind, I thought specific conditions outlined by Gagne shared a similar set of conditions across the board that helped me to organize my beliefs. I found that a strong emphasis on attention, memorization, and repetition discussed within social learning theory supported my personal learning theory's main points as well. Utilizing my personal experiences along with course material, I found that when you have the learner's attention, provide information in a manner that is not overwhelming, couple those with consistent and quality feedback, one should yield a quality learning outcome. Like previously stated, learners need to have attention drawn to whatever it is that they're learning. Without the learner being receptive and oriented in some way with the information, effective learning cannot occur. That attention can literally be showing them something that piques interest, or calling out names, or figuratively grabbing their attention by some sort of motivation like a raise or some type of negative repercussion. Also, the information should be provided in a way that isn't overwhelming. In Chapter 3, Driscoll discusses how incoming information is processed within the working memory or short-term memory before it's saved into one's long-term memory. She highlights the limitations of short-term memory and that it can't hold a large amount of information for a prolonged amount of time. So taking those limitations into consideration, the information should be provided in a way that's not overwhelming, like chunks of meaningful material not given all at once, with both visual and verbal modeling or descriptions of the information available as well. Also, the learner should have ample amounts of time to practice and demonstrate the learned behavior or information in an environment where they have access to that model or a piece of information with the correct intended outcome for a reference. The text emphasizes the importance of practice with a variety of examples and problems. Having the opportunity to apply materials or skills is a crucial external condition needed to facilitate the process of optimal retention. Lastly, learners should have consistent and effective feedback prior to the completion of training. In Chapter 10, Driscoll also recalls Golhavy and Stock's concept that emphasizes the effect of feedback on a learner's motivation and ability to perform. When a learner is aware of what they're doing right or wrong, there's usually a push to either correct or master the information or skill. Now, how all of this would be applied to my intended plan to deliver information is first, making sure that the group of learners know why they're required to know the information. Is there a new policy rolling out, a new piece of equipment or software? Are they lacking in any areas of productivity? Also, I would make sure to provide the expected outcome of knowing the information. Is it a specific skill, like completing a diagnostics test on a new machine? Should they be able to recall certain information about a specific topic? Are we eliminating a specific behavior, etc.? It is important for me to make aware the benefits or motivation behind knowing the information as well. Will this increase productivity? Does this keep them from disciplinary action? Or is it just a for your information type of learning experience? Also, developing a delivery system that allows for the information to be taught in a way that is the least overwhelming. Consistent and open communication with a group of learners is crucial. Having checkpoints where the learners can have the opportunity to ask questions and have the information modeled before moving on to the next steps will ensure that the information is provided for optimal retention. Learning as much about the intended group of learners prior to the learning experience as well during this will help me to further feel out the group in case modifications are needed. Currently, my personal learning theory lacks in-depth process of how to determine what is considered overwhelming to a group of learners. This can vary depending on the individual learner, so it is important that time is spent planning meaningful lessons that provide information in a strategic way. Being mindful of one's audience throughout the process to ensure your mode of delivery doesn't need to be adjusted. Additionally, another hurdle that can influence the process is ensuring there's an adequate amount of time available to provide the information or demonstrate the skill that is compatible with the parameters of the working memory. If the situation arises that there isn't enough time, modifying the coursework and how it's delivered to optimize the time will aid in that. In conclusion, when a person is responsible for providing any kind of educational experience or information, it is imperative that they keep in mind the concepts and ideas discussed. Placing great emphasis on gaining and retaining the learner's attention, providing quality information in a manner that's not overwhelming and complicated based on their abilities, joined with a consistent and valuable feedback, one will yield a solid foundation to or quality learning experience. Thank you.